What's going on YouTube? It's Richawd. Now, to add some context to this video, I'm going to be reading an article that states nearly 50% of people are considering leaving their job in 2024, more than during the Great Resignation. In 2022, at the height of the Great Resignation, a record 4.5 million workers each month, about 3% of the U.S. workforce, were quitting their jobs. While some economists have said this pandemic era trend is over, new research from Microsoft and LinkedIn forecasts that even more people plan to leave their jobs in 2024. Nearly half, 46% of professionals say they're considering quitting in the year ahead, higher than the 40% who said the same ahead of 2021's Great Resignation, according to the new research from Microsoft and LinkedIn, which surveyed more than 30,000 people in 31 countries between February and March of 2024. In the U.S., LinkedIn has seen a 14% increase in job applications per opening since last fall, with 85% of workers saying they plan to look for a new role in 2024. A survey of 1,013 U.S. professionals conducted between November and December 2023 found. And Americans' confidence in their job hunting prospects has reached its highest point in 2 years. A February 2024 ZipRecruiter survey of more than 2,000 job seekers shows. This renewed sense of optimism is aided by the fact that the U.S. economy avoided the recession forecast for 2023. ZipRecruiter chief economist Julia Polak tells CNBC Make It. Despite high-profile job cuts at a few large companies, layoff rates, much like unemployment, are lower than before the C-19 pandemic. Job growth has been strong and stable since the start of 2024. Americans are more confident about their career prospects, but dissatisfaction with continuing high inflation in their current roles could equally be driving them to seek new opportunities. Inflation is pushing some workers to new jobs. It's not just better labor market conditions driving more U.S. workers to consider a career change in 2024. Inflation is still squeezing Americans' budget. Nearly half, 45% of workers planning to switch jobs this year say they need a higher income, according to the Monsters 2024 WorkWatch report. Job switchers tend to increase their salaries more quickly than those who stay put, per data from the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. Changing jobs is coming with greater pay gains. Changing jobs is coming with greater pay gains. New data from ADP shows the median year-over-year pay increase for job switchers is 10% in March, up from 2.9% 6 months prior. With salaries finally keeping up with the inflation, Polak adds, the return on investment of switching jobs feels much higher than it was 6 months ago. Real hourly earnings, wages after accounting for inflations, grew by 1.1% in February of 2024 compared to a year earlier, CNBC reports. Resignators' remorse. More people could be planning to quit their jobs in 2024 because they are not satisfied with the jobs they took during the Great Resignation, Polak adds. Between 2020 and 2022, people fled industries like personal care services and fitness for jobs in transportation and technology that were hiring thousands of new employees and offering better pay. But those new jobs haven't always resulted in a lifestyle upgrade as many has hoped. About 80% of those who quit their jobs during the Great Resignation regretted their decision to leave, particularly Gen Zers who miss working in an office environment and Gen Zers who also miss the work-life balance from their previous jobs. A 2023 survey of over 825 employees from HR and payroll solution providers Paychecks found. Workers might have lost some leverage since the heyday of the Great Resignation, but there are still plenty of opportunities for people who want a new and better job. The labor market has posted 8.5 million openings since March, with health and private education, government, and leisure and hospitality fueling job gains. Polak says she's seen tremendous demands for the healthcare and skilled trade workers. There are parts of the steel a lot of high paying opportunities out there. She adds, they just might not be where you want to be. What's going on, YouTube? So that was an article from CNBC Make It that was published, I believe, March 8th, 2024, forecasting about a 50% population of people that plan on leaving their current jobs. Now, the topic of this video is the grass greener on the other side? And when should you leave a job? When do you know that it's time to leave? Because as we saw, a lot of people, they're saying a lot of people from the studies that participated in the great resignation, of what they're calling it, basically after 2020, when we was going through the whole pandemic, from about 2020 to 2022, a lot of people were leaving their jobs. And really what it was is because, they was giving those stimulus checks and all type of stuff. So a lot of people were getting laid off. So a lot of people got comfortable not working. This is why I feel like so many people now are struggling to work now, because you basically had that whole year of 2020 where a lot of people, were able to work in a different type of environment. A lot of people started working from home. A lot of people just weren't working. They were just, collecting unemployment, collecting stimulus checks, and they were living off of that, and they were living well off of that. And, and then the vaccines come out, and, things start to somewhat go back to normal. It'll never be completely normal again, but things start to somewhat go back to normal. And now you got all these people that have gotten used to living a certain lifestyle, not having to work hard for it. And now it was kind of back to reality. Like now, those stimulus checks started to end. The unemployment starts to dry up. You can only collect that for so long until you're not eligible for it. Now you have all these people that now have to find jobs, So this is why around 2023, late 2022, early 2023, they said there was an increase in, people looking for jobs, But to the topic of this video, it's not going to be very long. Is the grass greener leaving your job? Should you leave your job? And, is what they're saying true? Do Americans just not want to work these jobs anymore? Are Americans choosing, their mental being, their mental happiness over a job now? And what type of impact would this have? And will the government have to intervene? I'm gonna give my thoughts on that in this video, because this can be a very dicey topic. And this is why things like artificial intelligence is being worked on. You know what I'm saying? Because of this very reason, because of the failing workforce, because of the dysfunctional workforce, because of inconsistent workers, inconsistent work, Now, the study showed that a lot of people that ended up leaving their job and getting a higher paying job, even though they left their job and got a higher paying job, they don't like those jobs either, which is why about 45%, close to 50% of people, based on that study, were considering leaving their job. And it's probably even higher than that, because that's only the people that they surveyed, not to say the amount of people that chose to, not participate in the survey. So even those that found a better paying job, better benefits, all of that, felt that the lifestyle wasn't the lifestyle that they want. And to me, this all trickles back to the whole 2020 thing. And it could go further back, but I feel like we're in 2020, that was an eye-opening year. That was an enlightening year. A lot of people started to see what's what. A lot of people started to see who's on your side, who's not on your side, who cares about you, who doesn't care about you, And it seems like people started prioritizing their mental state of being, you know, their mental health, you know, spiritual things, you know what I'm saying? People started to become more in tune with that. And it's like, you know, especially with how things have been so inflated now, people are really having to make a decision like, do I want this super high paying job that's pretty much going to take up all my time, and I'm not really going to be able to live the lifestyle that I may want to live? I'm not going to get the vacation time that I may want to get. I'm not going to be able to live the life that I've been used to living, you know? This is why a lot of people, you know, bonds have been broken, friendships, relationships have been broken, not necessarily due to them just growing apart. Some people had to move. Some people had to travel across the country to get a better job, to get a better paying job. And then they go through all of that and they're still unhappy, you know? So it makes you ask the question, is the grass greener? Should they have just stayed put? When is it time? When do you know it's time to leave your job? Now, you know, being someone who's been unemployed the last month, not by choice, you know, but I have chosen to leave jobs before. And I have gone through resignation remorse, as they call it in that article. I would think you gotta think ahead. You gotta do it smart. You know, if you got a good paying job, you may not be the happiest. I would say the best thing for you to start doing is start saving as much money as possible. Live within your means. Just because you got the high paying job, if it's just you, or you don't got a big family or anything like that yet, you know, you're just getting out of college and you're just establishing yourself in a career, I would say, you know, live a minimalist lifestyle for about a year. You know, go through about a year living a minimalist lifestyle. You know, still go out a little bit, still live life a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But live within your means. Don't be taking any big trips, any big vacations. You know, start to think of something to invest in, you know what I'm saying? Start to look for other streams of revenue, you know, and I would say start saving as much money as possible. Start weighing your options, because bottom line, cash rules everything around you. You're going to need money. You know, that's one of the main things that causes, you know, some people to regret leaving their jobs, you know, at least those who quit their jobs, you know what I'm saying? But this, you know, this article seems more geared towards people with like career jobs, not just any old job that anybody can get. These are people with career jobs, considering leaving, considering finding another career. These are people that went to college, got degrees to do what they do, considering to leave. I would just say this, man, you know, whatever decision you make, you got to understand that, you know, life is never going to be easy. Life is never going to go as you want it to go. You know, life is never going to be perfect. You know, sometimes, you know, you search for the perfect job and you kind of, you know, you take for granted what you have. You know, that's why a lot of those people in the articles were saying that they kind of miss their old jobs. They kind of miss their coworkers and just the work-life, you know, balance that they have. They're saying these higher paying jobs, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. Yeah, they're paying you more, but a lot more is required out of you. A lot more stress goes into the job, you know. You either have less time to spend with you know, friends and family and stuff like that, and you also have less energy to give to friends and family, because all your energy is going towards this job, you know. So you just have to make a decision, man. What do you want to do with your life? You know what I'm saying? I would say if you got a high paying job, it's a good career, and you don't see anything better out there that would pay you more, or that may seem better for you, I would say to stick it out there and to save as much money as possible to make the best out of it, you know. But closing the video, have Americans just gotten too soft? You know, do we need to be replaced with robots? You know, is that what it's come to? You know, are Americans so weak that the jobs that we were willing to work 50, 100 years ago, we're just not willing to work anymore? I don't necessarily think it's that. I just think, you know, people are less willing to work super hard and still struggle. You know what I'm saying? And this is my point, to where you have to live within your means. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, you get a higher paying job, and then what do you go do? You go get a higher, a more expensive car, a more expensive house. You start living a more expensive lifestyle, and as you should, you're making more money, right? You should, enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? But then with this inflated society, all of that has kind of backfired on a lot of people, because now they have now, in order to keep up with this certain lifestyle, it's really draining their pockets, and they don't really have money to save, and they don't really have time to take vacations or nothing like that, but I would just say this, man, make the best out of whatever opportunity you do have. Because here's the thing, man. If things don't get back on track, and if things keep trending in the wrong direction, and people are less willing to work these jobs that they need people to work, they need people to work these certain type of jobs, it may force the government to approach things with more of a dictator mentality. And we don't want that, man. We don't want to be forced to do things. Right now, we have the option. We have options to choose what we want to do, choose what type of jobs we want to work. We don't want to get back into the times where, they force you to do certain work. You know what I'm saying? So I think there has to be a healthy balance that is found with your job. You know what I'm saying? With whatever you do, because the unemployed life, the not working for anybody life, that sounds great, but it's very, very hard to achieve. And not only is it hard to achieve, it's hard to maintain. You may get to a point to where you're self-employed, and where you're making your own money, and you don't got to clock in, and you don't got to work for nobody, but then you got to maintain that shit. You got to maintain that shit. Working for you, you don't have, it's nobody but you holding you accountable. And if you start to slip, everything falls. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a lot of pressure that comes with being self-employed. It's not as easy as it may look. It's not as comfortable or stress-free as it may look. It's a lot of pressure that comes with it. So you're going to have a lot of pressure at a corporate job, and you're going to have a lot of pressure working alone. So at the end of the day, you just have to be able to deal with that pressure, have a vision for what you want to do with your life, and it'll make it all worth it. You know what I'm saying? When you're working towards something, it'll make it all worth it, man. But that's just really my thoughts on it. I don't want to drag this one out. I'm finna go get some food, get some breakfast, and get my day going. The holidays is coming up for those who celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I don't believe in them, but I still do celebrate, because it's just embedded in me. Since a child, I grew up around the holiday spirit, so it's just a certain level of nostalgia that I feel around this time, even though it don't feel like Christmas. Shit, when I was a kid, it was snowing right now. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had a Christmas with snow since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I'm finna get up out of here, man. But I hope everybody's doing well, and anybody who may be considering leaving their job, I would just say to leave with a plan. Leave with the plan. I caught a lot of flack, and I still get comments to this day about my video of quote unquote leaving my job that I used to work with no plan B, and a lot of the people that comment on those videos, they probably don't keep up with the channel, or they probably don't know what my views on that situation are now, but that's not the way to go about things, because it just makes things harder. And that was a decision that led to me losing my job. You know what I'm saying? Because I left and then came back and then got fired a few months later. You know what I'm saying? If I never made that decision, if I never chose to, leave for those 2 weeks, I'll probably still have that job right now. But, those are the decisions that I chose to make. So before you make a big decision like leaving your job, because that is a big decision, I know in the moment it may feel like the perfect thing to do. In the moment it felt like the perfect thing for me to do, but make sure you have a plan. Make sure you have something to fall back on, something to hang on to. Luckily for me, by the time I got fired, I was in a position where, I had some things to fall back on, and that could hold me over for a few months while I sort things out and figure out what I'm gonna do next. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, just think about how this decision may affect you a month from now, a couple of weeks from now. You know what I'm saying? Don't just think about how in the moment, you feel good because you wake up the next day and you don't got to go clock into a job. Eventually that money's going to start running slim. Eventually the bills are going to be due, and eventually the stress and the pressure of life is going to start to hit you, and you're going to be going through that resigner's remorse, where you're like, damn, I should have just kept that job, bro. If I would have had that job, I could have been able to solve some of these issues, some of these problems that I have right now. So I'll just say that, man, life is not meant to be easy. A lot of these jobs aren't meant to be easy. You know what I'm saying? It seems like people are looking to live like, people feel entitled to a certain type of lifestyle. The lifestyle where things are easy and you don't have to work as hard, that lifestyle is earned. You know what I'm saying? The businessman who really don't got to do nothing but maintain their businesses and, go to business meetings and play golf, those type of people, bro, are few and far in between. And a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice has to go into living a life like that. And it seems like the average person feels like they're entitled to that type of life, and we're not. We're not. We're in a capitalistic society. Some people believe that capitalism needs to be broken down. I'm not one that believes capitalism needs to be broken down. I just believe that the poor needs to be destroyed. I'm not one that believes in order to have rich, you have to have poor. No, I believe that you can have rich people and then you can just have regular people. But I feel like regular people shouldn't be struggling. I feel like that's dehumanizing. I feel like that's insane. I feel like we live in a country that has enough money to where you shouldn't have homeless people. You shouldn't have people struggling to find meals. You shouldn't have people, struggling to just maintain. I feel like the basic necessities of life should be pretty easy to get. I feel like the luxuries of life, jewelry, big houses, nice cars, those should be things that are harder to get. And for a reason, they're more luxury, less, more rare things, you know what I'm saying? But that's just my view. And I'm not one of these people. We had that CEO get unalived by a person. You got a lot of people glorifying the person that unalived the CEO. I'm not one of these people that feel like, oh, you need to just destroy the rich. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that say you need to destroy the rich are people that don't have any money, but or don't have any money or don't know anybody with money. But what if you knew somebody that had money? Do you want that person being destroyed just because they have money? I'm telling you, bro, not everybody who has money, who may be looked at as rich, are sellouts or this or that. Some people actually went to school, got a degree, became doctors, became lawyers, started a business. You know what I'm saying? They actually put some work in to get very wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody, you know what I'm saying, did certain things to get to a certain level. So I'm not one of these people that believe destroy the rich. I just believe destroy the poor, and not destroy the poor as in everybody who's poor, get rid of them. No, destroy the poor as in that economic base. Like, people shouldn't be broke, People shouldn't be broke unless they choose to be broke. Now, I'm not saying just give people things. I'm not saying somebody who don't work, don't do nothing, don't give them something. But I'm saying the people that actually put in the work, put in the time, give the effort, these people should not struggle. These people should be able to live comfortably. These people should not have to worry about, bills and eating and all these things that this inflated society has caused the average person to worry about. That's my thing. That's my theory on things. But giving up, quitting, just not working, that's not a good solution. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people that want to do that. That's why, my video where I chose to do that was so popular, because that's the things that a lot of people wish they could do. They wish they could just walk away from a job and just be like, F it. But, a lot of people have responsibilities. Luckily for me, I didn't have those type of responsibilities. Now, if I had a son and I had a daughter and I had a shorty and all that shit I got to take care of, you best believe I wouldn't have did that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, kind of polarizing to see somebody who actually has the courage and the balls to be like, no, F this job. I'm out of here, man. I'm tired of this. But that's how everybody feels. You know what I'm saying? And if everybody just has that mentality to quit, like I said, that may force the government to start moving in more of a dictator mentality, because the government's mentality is they're going to get this shit done one way or the other. Rather they got to bring AI in, rather they got to force us to work. You saw what they did, and, I ain't even gonna mention that, but the whole 19 thing, you saw how they forced certain things upon people, even though technically They didn't force you, but they made it seem like you had no other choice. You know what I'm saying? But man, that's the video. I'm not going to drag it out, man. Close to 50% of people are considering leaving their jobs. Around that same amount regretted leaving their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Majority of people who end up leaving their job have job remorse. And it just seems like no matter where you go, no matter what job you look for, you know, people can't find happiness. You know, rather that job is paying them well or rather that job is paying them shit. You know, it seems like people just can't find a job where they're happy at. And I feel like you're not meant to, you know, for those who believe in certain spiritual things, this isn't our rest. You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna be as comfortable as certain people, certain elites, you know, until there's a reset. So until the reset, we just can't sit and do nothing, because if you sit and do nothing, you will end up homeless. You will end up a bum on the street, you know? So we just got to keep fighting. Got to keep living life, you know? Work hard, play hard. You know what I'm saying? Work hard, play hard, man. You know, treat yourself. Go out, do things, you know, have something to look forward to, you know? Build relationships with people. These are things that'll make this life worth it. I'm telling you, just the money is not going to be enough. It's going to, all the money is going to do is keep you stressing, because even if you got the bag, you know, people, I know people that got the bag, people that are getting to the money, and they still like are anxious and live in a state of anxiety because they're scared of losing the money. They're scared of becoming poor again. They're scared of being broke again. They're scared to spend money. You know what I'm saying? They got the LeBron James mentality. They scared to spend money, you know, because they know how this thing goes, you know. But if you want to have some level of peace in all of this, bro, I would just say focus on the relationships, the spiritual connections that you have with people. That's way deeper than just money, because money can come and go, bro. One day you can have $1 million and one day you can be bankrupt, bro. You know what I'm saying? So how valuable is money really? You know, it has value, but how valuable is it really? If it can just come and go like that, you know, one day the powers that be could just end the dollar. You know, the dollar no longer has value. The $5 bill, 20, you can have all this cash, all this money. One day the powers that be, the people that run the banks, they can just shut all the banks down, and all of our money, everything you work for, means nothing. And now everybody's at square A. Then what? You know? Then what? But I'm out, man.